global outlook on the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, with particular emphasis on the ramifications on the U.S. economy and national security. In today's world, global conflicts can't be overlooked, especially those affecting the U.S. economy and national security. Today we delve into the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. The war in Ukraine started in 2014, an echo of age-old East-West tensions, but the battle lines are continually evolving. It's an unpredictable conflict with lasting impacts. Similarly, the Middle East has been a hotspot for conflicts for decades. Turmoil in the region impacts global security and economic stability, directly influencing the U.S. The U.S. economy's health is inextricably tied to global peace. Conflicts overseas can cause fluctuation in the markets and impact foreign investment. Instability in Ukraine and the Middle East weakens global trade routes. Businesses, particularly those dependent on these regions, suffer from uncertainty. Further, conflicts affect the energy sector. Both Ukraine and the Middle East are rich in energy resources. Disruptions here lead to fluctuating energy prices worldwide. Energy price instability directly impacts the U.S. Energy is not just a commodity, it's a strategic asset. Disruptions can unsettle the U.S. economy and national security. Military expenditure is another significant aspect. As conflicts rise, so does the need for military support and intervention, costing billions to the U.S. budget. The conflict in Ukraine may seem far off, but its geopolitical implications are closer to home than we realize. The U.S. maintains support for Ukraine, fostering potential friction with Russia. The Middle East crisis is more complex. Multiple countries are involved, leading to an intricate web of alliances and enmities, all affecting U.S. foreign policy. The U.S. historically has had significant military presence in the Middle East. This involvement comes with considerable cost, both financial and human. These conflicts also cause a surge in refugees. The U.S. as a global leader is morally obligated to respond, increasing pressure on immigration policies and resources. Terrorism is another global security concern. Conflicts in both regions provide breeding grounds for extremist ideologies, posing significant security threats to the U.S. The rise in cyber warfare adds a new dimension. Both Ukraine and the Middle East have seen cyber attacks, a threat the U.S. needs to prepare for. It's important to remember that every conflict has a human face. The humanitarian crisis resulting from these wars affects the U.S.'s global image and diplomatic relations. The U.S. is not an isolated island. What happens globally affects us domestically. These conflicts impact not just our economy and security, but also our place in the global community. The U.S.'s response to these conflicts shapes international perceptions. Our actions impact our alliances, our standing in international organizations, and our influence over global affairs. Also, these conflicts affect U.S. political discourse. They shape election campaigns, influence public opinion, and drive legislative priorities. Understanding these impacts is crucial for informed policymaking. Making decisions without understanding the context can lead to unintended negative consequences. In conclusion, the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East are more than just international conflicts. They impact the U.S. in multiple ways, from our economy to our national security. Addressing these challenges requires not just military solutions, but also diplomatic and economic strategies. It's about finding sustainable solutions that promote peace and stability. It's also about building relationships, fostering alliances, and understanding that global peace is a shared responsibility. We're all interconnected in this globalized world. The U.S. must continue to leverage its international influence to mediate these conflicts. It's not just about flexing military muscle, but using diplomacy to achieve peaceful resolutions. We must also keep our economic interests in mind. Finding ways to mitigate the impacts of these conflicts on our markets is critical for economic stability. At the same time, we need to reinforce our cybersecurity infrastructure. As cyber warfare becomes more prevalent, we need to protect our national security. We must also address the humanitarian crises these conflicts have caused. Ensuring the safety and well-being of refugees is not just morally right, it's also strategically smart. In the end, it's about striking the right balance. Balancing our economic interests with our security concerns. Balancing our commitment to global peace with our national interests. Remember, our decisions today will impact our future. The way we navigate these conflicts will shape not only our economy and national security but also our global standing. The road ahead may be challenging, but it's not impossible. With strategic planning, informed decision-making, and a commitment to peace, we can navigate these global crises. Let's not forget we are all global citizens. Our actions and decisions impact people around the world. Let's strive for peace, stability, and prosperity for all. Thank you for joining me in this exploration. Remember, understanding is the first step towards resolution. Stay informed, engage in the discussion, and help shape a better future.